If you grew up in the 2000s and you were blessed to go to Rainforest Cafe, your life was pretty good. I don't know why in this entire video I called it Rainforest Cafe, but it's actually called Rainforest Cafe, so please forgive me. Since I grew up in Florida, we had a few Rainforest Cafes, so I was pretty lucky. We even had a dinosaur-themed one. If you're not familiar with Rainforest Cafe, it's essentially a restaurant where you order overpriced, pretty much Chili's food, but more expensive.
Rainforest Cafe is the perfect dine-in restaurant for families with little kids. This would be a great place to take your kiddos for their birthday lunch. This gift store is fully stocked with something for everyone. My family loved this place.
But there's animatronics everywhere, and then every like 10 minutes or so, they have like a little show where there's like thunder and rain and stuff. And it's actually pretty awesome. My parents probably did not enjoy overpaying for the mid-food, but I enjoyed it a lot when I was little. In fact, every time we would pass by one, I would beg that we please go there. Looking back, like they probably did not want to go there. Rainforest Cafe opened in 1994 in Minnesota, created by Steven Schussler. He wanted to turn dining into an adventure. The restaurant mixed food, animatronics, and a theme park energy with fake rainstorms, moving animals, and souvenir shops. By the late 90s, Rainforest Cafe had 50 plus locations worldwide. I was in Florida, so there was a few options. So I think their main issue is that a lot of times they were in malls and areas where people high trafficked and kids would ask for it. So if your kid has been there a couple times and they stop asking for it and you're not going to choose it as the adult, like the amount of adults that will choose to go to Rainforest Cafe are probably pretty slim. The business model is like really expensive and just not like, it's kind of relying on a gimmick. The main problem with Rainforest Cafe is that the food is incredibly bad and expensive. So the only reason that you would want to go is for the animatronics, and once you see it a couple times or just even once, you've kind of already seen it. So there's not a lot of replayability to going to Rainforest Cafe. It's not like Chili's or something, or like Outback where you really want a blooming onion. Like there's not like an item that really stands out. In fact, it's probably all just frozen stuff. Like it just feels like frozen, really mediocre, expensive food. In fact, we can probably pop up some menu prices so you can see what I'm talking about. Like the food is pretty much all frozen and the restaurant is really expensive, so there's not like a good reason to go there. By the 2010s, most Rainforest Cafes are closed. That means they pretty much were only successful for like 20 to 30 years or so.
A popular New Jersey Rainforest Cafe has closed its doors after 27 years. Only one location remains in New Jersey. The Menlo Park Mall Rainforest Cafe.
This is heartbreaking.
We've all had experience with this Rainforest Cafe. It touched so many of us, and now it's closing its doors. How sad. Another longtime staple at a New Jersey mall is gone, as the Rainforest Cafe at Menlo Park Mall in Edison has closed its doors.
Which kind of sucks because it's, I guess like they should have focused on their food just being better, or maybe just having better deals. Maybe like throw in a 2 for me or something. But Rainforest Cafe wasn't only killed by greed and just extremely expensive menu prices and really bad food, but they also expanded a lot and people, like foot traffic just stopped happening. Like people are not really going to malls anymore, and a lot of these were in malls or just high traffic areas, and people just aren't congregating like that anymore, at least since the pandemic. Like it feels like people just like to stay home and do Uber Eats or whatever. The other day I went to San Antonio to the Riverwalk. There is a Rainforest Cafe in there, and I was telling my boyfriend that like, oh, I love Rainforest Cafe. We would never actually go and eat at one, at least while we don't have a kid. If we had a kid, maybe it would be like fun to stop at one, but I can't think of any reason that like an adult would go there. But I'm really glad that I got to experience Rainforest Cafe as a kid. They also have this section with toys. Like you can get like a bag of all the little characters from Rainforest Cafe, and there's a bunch of merch and stuff. I remember like having all the little toys because I'd beg my parents to get me it. I don't know what the restaurant could do to make a comeback. I mean, I would say probably making things cheaper, but I guess that these days just any restaurant that's able to run a deal is like going to bring people to the door. I also just think in general the animatronics are a little dated at this point. It could be a sense of like when I was a kid I was seeing it with kid brain, so it was kind of like a different thing, and with kid brain everything seems more exciting and better and just scarier. Like somewhere around 8, and the crocodile that is usually at the front of the store, it was terrifying because they put like this like omnibus, they put like this smoke in the crocodile water, and it does feel like he's gonna pop out and eat you. Let's talk about finances too. The locations for these restaurants are really expensive to make. Each new location costs between $4 to $7 million to build, and they only make $6 to $7 million in revenue, so these margins are tiny. And if you've ever been to one of these locations, one, they're usually in a prime location. So that means, like, for example, the one that I used to frequent when I was a kid was the one in Disney Springs in Florida. If you've never been to Orlando or just the Disney area, it's kind of like a little mall that's Disney themed. That location is probably the one I went to the most as a kid, and I cannot imagine how much the rent in that location cost. It has to be a lot of money. And then on top of that, you need to actually put the animatronics, which I can't imagine that is like relatively cheap. And then if you have these razor thin margins, then they're not really making that much money. Like, it's cool, you know, and then the food is bad, so I don't know, I guess maybe get like a real chef in there.
I don't think you can actually cook.
Chef that is making good food, and then maybe you can justify the high price, but it's like you have the high price and the high cost of location and the food is bad. Generally, most of the locations I've seen them in, it just seems really difficult for this business model to make money when you need a high traffic, expensive area to put your restaurant in, and then you have to put expensive animatronics in there, and then that kind of like means your prices have to be higher in order to break even, and then your food is bad, and then it's like kind of like the entire business model is just bad, I think, in its current state. The company itself also went into major debt because how are they supposed to fund? There are currently only 16 locations left. Well, if you have a kid, it's a no-brainer, like, do take them. But if you don't have a kid, it might still be fun to pop in. The food's gonna be bad and it's gonna be overpriced, but I still think it's a cool thing if you've never been to one.
Do you guys remember Rainforest Cafe? Because I went full nostalgia mode today and checked it out for lunch. It's honestly exactly like I remember it as a kid, with fish tanks, jungle scenery, and even the moving animals. And shockingly enough, the food was actually pretty good. We got their mozzarella flatbread, and we also got their crazy sampler platter with a bunch of different things on it. We also got their Creole mac and cheese, which was super cheesy. And on the healthier side, we did get salads, which were also delicious. We might have been the only adults in the entire place, but I'm definitely coming back.
There's a restaurant called like Dick's Restaurant or something where they're really mean to you and that's part of the shtick.
I'll do the
It says, even my hand rejects me.
Wait, this looks so good.
What do you think you deserve as the tip?
I think you need to leave at least $30 for putting up with your ass.
Yeah, this is Rainforest Cafe is better because there's nobody being mean to you, and you know, you could have your mediocre little food, little Chili's food. The 16 stores that are remaining are doing pretty okay, so they should remain, but they will be in really specific areas most likely, so it'll be a super niche thing. And if you bump into one, I would go because I think they're fun. But I totally understand why the business model of Rainforest Cafe is just pretty bad. Let me know what you guys think, and have you ever been lucky enough to go to Rainforest Cafe?